The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
We are for the Ross Report for the last week of the regular season of high school football, and it has been a great regular season. Looking forward to the postseason. Congratulations to the teams that will play a Game 11, and also for the teams, even though they didn't make it, still successful seasons across the 912 for teams that are not advancing to the postseason. Let's look at last week's scores. Ware County won their region by defeating Coffee County 31-6. It was Appling. They are a region champion. They defeated Brantley County 42-0. Irwin over Bacon County 66-7. Bradwell gets a win in the last game of the regular season over Greenbrier 29-9. Brunswick wins their region, and they defeated Effingham County 30-27. Camden finishes second in their region. They will host a playoff game this coming week. They beat Lowndes 48-21. Charlton over Lanier 55-28. Frederica Academy won their region. They rolled over St. Andrews 42-7. Frederica gets a bye in the GIAA playoffs as the 6th seed. Glen Academy gets a win in the last week of the regular season over Lakeside 42-20. They are on the road as the 3rd seed out of that region. Jeff Davis loses to Sumter 21-19. Savannah Christian over Liberty County 40-6. It was Long County over Johnson 38-14. Congratulations to Long County. Back-to-back playoff appearances for the Blue Tide. Pierce County over Tatnall 37-7. It was Colquitt over Richmond Hill. They won Region 1-7A. They beat Richmond Hill 41-14. South Effingham over Evans 37-24. Evans over South Effingham 37-24. And Toombs County defeated Vidalia 34-0 in that cross-county rivalry. We look forward to the first round of the playoffs. KP and Sean will tell you all about it coming up. This is the Ross Report on 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Son's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Hello, everybody. Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. Last Friday night, I had the pleasure of covering the Brunswick and Effingham game out at Glenn County Stadium. It was a game that decided the Region 2 6A championship, and in the end, it was the Pirates pulling out a 30-27 victory over the Rebels in a down-to-the-wire ball game. We'll tell you exactly how it unfolded in a minute. But what does this victory mean for the Pirates? Well, of course, it does make them the Region 2 6A champions for the second year in a row, the outright champions. Last year, Brunswick beat Effingham in this same scenario in the season finale to decide the region title. Brunswick won last year's game between these two teams 21-18 up in Springfield. So again, a 3-point victory on Friday night. So 6 points have decided the last two games between these two teams, and the Pirates have two region championships to show for it with the wins in both games. Now, also for the Pirates, this game meant that they completed their second straight perfect regular season. The Pirates won all 10 of their games, of course, in the regular season this year for a 10-0 record going into the playoffs, just like last year when the Pirates won all 10 of their regular season games as well. So two back-to-back perfect seasons for the Pirates. The last time they had gone perfect in the regular season prior to last year was 1999 when that great BHS team won their first 14 games on the way to the Class 4A state championship game when they lost their only game of the season to Lowndes in the state final over in Valdosta. But, of course, Brunswick now has also moved its regular season win streak to 22 straight games. The win streak goes back to the 2020 season when the Pirates completed that year with 2 regular season wins prior to the playoffs after losing a game in the region against Richmond Hill. So, of course, the Pirates will have that streak still on the line next year when they go into the 2023 season opener. But looking at how this game unfolded Friday night between the Rebels and the Pirates took the early lead in the ball game, 7-0 in the first quarter on a pass from J.R. Elkins to touchdown Terry Mitchell, and he certainly lived up to his nickname, as you will see here as we go through the scoring recap in this ball game. But he turned that pass into a 53-yard touchdown for the Pirates. The PAT by McLean Finneran was good, and the Pirates led 7-0 in the first quarter. Effingham comes back and ties the game up at 7-7. They had actually kicked a field goal, but Brunswick had a roughing the kicker call on that field goal, and of course that gave Effingham a new set of downs and a first down, and they took it in on a touchdown run by the quarterback of 8 yards by Nate Hayes. The PAT tied the game up at 7-7. Then 2 big plays by the Pirates gave Brunswick a 20-7 lead at halftime. The first big play was a 68-yard touchdown run, I believe it was, by Jamarius Towns, one of their sophomore running backs, to give Brunswick the lead again. And then touchdown Terry came through with another big play. He returned a punt 72 yards down the BHS sideline to extend Brunswick's lead before the end of the first half to 20-7. They actually missed one of their PATs, so that was the difference there in far as the 20-7 score goes. Now Effingham comes back and makes it a 20-14 game in the second half. Brunswick kicks a field goal of over 30 yards to start the fourth quarter to extend their lead back to 23-14. But Effingham comes back and scores again, misses the extra point, and it's a 23-20 game. And then the Brunswick makes probably what I call their drive of the season so far because of the magnitude of this game and where they did this at in the game. It actually made the difference on the scoreboard, really, in the end, gave them some breathing room that they certainly needed with the game, way this game finished. But they scored third to make it 30-20 with just right around 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Converted twice on fourth down on this drive. The first was a 4th and 2 conversion when they threw a pass to Jaden Drayton just across the line of scrimmage. He gained 6 yards to keep that drive alive. And then also they completed a 4th down and 7 pass from J.R. Elkins to touchdown Terry Mitchell. They got the ball down inside the 5-yard line, I believe it was. And a couple of plays later, Jaden Drayton scores and to make that lead 30-20 after the PAT. But Brunswick needed all the points because Effingham comes right back and scores on basically a desperation pass with their quarterback under pressure. Hayes threw one as far as he could to the end zone. It was caught by the major college prospect for the Rebels, Keon Wallace, in the end zone. They kicked the PAT, and it's 30-27 with 19 seconds to go in the ball game. Of course, they're going to onside kick it, which they did, and it was a great onside kick, great execution by the Rebels. They got on the football over near their sideline before the ball was able to possibly go out of bounds. It never did, of course. And with a little under, I think about 15 seconds to go, they ran 4 plays, 3 incomplete passes. 1 was almost intercepted. And then on the 4th down play by the Pirates, they actually had a sack by Jordan Jimerson to end that ball game. And Brunswick got out of Glenn County Stadium with a 30-27 victory for the region championship. Speaking of touchdown, Terry, what a night it was for him. Certainly a highlight reel that he can send off to colleges, and they probably saw all they need in this tape to offer that kid a scholarship. But in addition to the touchdowns, he had 10 catches for 170 yards. He caught all but 2 of the completions by his quarterback Elkins in the game. Elkins, I think, was 12 of 18, 19 in the ball game for 182 yards, had 2 other completions that totaled up to 12 yards. He did have the 1 interception. And then so Brunswick certainly got a big game from their junior wide receiver, Terry Mitchell, who came through in the clutch for the Pirates with his big playability and certainly helped them pull out this region championship. Another great game by the BHS defense, of course, making that stop at the end there to preserve this win for the Pirates. So now looking ahead, no easy assignments for either one of these two teams in the state playoffs this week. Tomorrow night, Effingham has the pleasure now of hosting Lee County, which screwed around and ended up losing a couple of games in their region over there, Region 1, 6A, and is now the number 3 seed out of that region. And we're talking about a team that was number 2 in the state for a good bit of the year. So that's going to be a tough first-round assignment there for Effingham, taking on State Power Lee. Not going to be a whole lot easier for the Brunswick High School Pirates. They get another ranked team, Houston County, the number 4 seed out of that region. They're going to come to Glenn County Stadium, try to throw it all over the place with a high-scoring offense, and we'll see if Brunswick can survive this one and then maybe make a run from here. So 2 tough games for both of these teams. The first 2 seeds out of Region 2, 6A. We'll see how they do. I'll be back at Glenn County Stadium tomorrow night for that game between Brunswick and Houston, and I'll have a recap of that game next week right here on 912 Sports.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Have you seen the new issue of 912 Sports? In this issue, you can read all about Brunswick High's Kayshawn Thomas as he's helped propel his Pirates team to their second straight undefeated regular season. And find out where in the ACC Kayshawn has committed to play his college ball. Get to know Coffee High's Antoine McDuffie, Camden's DeNigel Cooper, Ware's Zach Watson, and more by checking out our Did You Know features. And you can learn what it takes to serve this great nation as we share the journey of Glen Academy Red Terror's David Stanfield as he prepares for the Naval Academy. Pick up your copy today at one of these locations or order home delivery at 912sports.net.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today?
Doing good, Sean. Glad to be here talking high school football with you. Hard to believe we're already to the postseason, but the good news is in Georgia it does last 5 weeks, so that's about a half a season right there of a 10-game season. So we'll be crying about 5 or 6 weeks from now when it's all over, but hopefully we're going to get some good playoff runs out of teams here in Southeast Georgia as we go through this Peach State postseason right here.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about the first round of the state playoffs here in Georgia. We're going to be talking about games on Friday and games on Saturday, Kevin. They did this last year. Basically, according to GHSA, this is due to the lack of quality officials that they're going to be playing these games both on Friday and Saturday night, which is fine with me because I want the best officials on the field that we can get. So some of these games will be Saturday, some of these games will be Friday, and we'll try to let you know where we know what it is. But let's jump right into it, Kevin. A game that's going to be played on Saturday, 7A. We've got East Coweta is going to travel down to Camden County. Congratulations to the Wildcats, a home game here in the playoffs. A big win last week over Lowndes County, a tough opponent. East Coweta's already played Lowndes earlier in the season and beat them, but it's going to be a good one in Chris Gilman Stadium on Saturday night, Kevin.
Yeah, this is exciting for the Camden County Wildcats and their fans. They have not hosted a postseason game since 2015, so kind of seems odd that it's been a while for Camden, but here they are. And the reason they're here, Sean, is because of the great season they had right at the end. 2 impressive wins, beating Valdosta and that rugged defense a few weeks ago there in Gilman Stadium, and then after an off week coming back and probably playing their most complete game of the season all the way around against a solid Lowndes team that may be down a little bit, but it was a convincing win for Camden, and here they are. Now, this game right here is going to be a 2 versus 3 matchup, very competitive from what I understand. That East Coweta region was pretty competitive from top to bottom. So Camden's going to have a tough assignment here, but the way this team is trending, the way they're looking, playing with a lot of confidence, I like Camden right here, particularly if they can keep that offense rolling. And guess who could be playing Camden next? That's Grayson, and that would be a matchup against, a former assistant under Jeff Herron, Adam Carter.
Yeah, and just on a funny note there, Lowndes already has beat Grayson earlier in the season. So, like I said, looking pretty good for Camden right now. Just got to go handle their business on Saturday. But let's move into 6A, Kevin. A very, very exciting game in Brunswick between the Bricks on Friday night. Houston County comes calling to play the Brunswick Pirates. Brunswick, congratulations. 10-0 on the season again for the regular season play. Number 1 seed. Houston comes in as a number 4. Oh, but by the way, Houston County can score some points, Kevin. A lot of times putting up, high double digits, 50, 60, 70 points throughout the season. Going to be a good one there between the Bricks on Friday night.
Yeah, well, Region 2 6A probably turned out about like it probably should have. Brunswick on top, Effingham number 2. That was sort of the predicted order, and that's how it happened. Glenn number 3, Evans number 4. But this region right here, throw the seeds out. They don't matter. Lee County might be the most talented team in that region, maybe also possibly the most undisciplined team in that region, and that's why they're the 3rd seed with a couple of losses. TCC, Thomas County Central, the champion. Northside number 2, Lee 3, and then down here at the bottom, Houston County 4. But by no means is this your typical number 4 seed. An explosive offense with a 5-star quarterback, couple of big targets out at wide receiver. They're much better on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball. Brunswick pretty solid on both sides of the ball. It could be a shootout. Brunswick could win it or lose it, 38-35. Who knows? But this is a dog-eat-dog game. Could be a lot of excitement in Glen County Stadium with big plays by both offenses. You just got to weather the storm and try to win it some way. I like Brunswick because they're at home, but I really won't be surprised, Sean, if it goes the other way. And that's nothing against Brunswick. that's a testament to Houston County.
Right. Well, I think Brunswick's defense is a little bit better, and I give them a little bit of edge there. I sure wish Devin Smith was still on the field for Brunswick. He's a playmaker, and he definitely can change a game. But he's gone for the season. But again, Brunswick, I think their defense, even without Devin, is a little bit better than Houston County, and I look for Brunswick to find a way to get that one done there on Friday night. We talked about it. Brunswick had that big game versus Effingham County. Effingham County finishes as the 2 seed in that region, Kevin. And oh, by the way, you get to play Lee County as your reward. Like you said, Lee County is definitely a talented football team. How they lost a couple games is beyond me, but that's going to be a tough matchup for Coach John Ford and his Effingham Rebels on Friday night as Lee County comes calling. That brings us to Glenn and Northside Warner Robins. This again is a Friday night game. Glenn got to go on the road, travel to Northside. Northside's a very, very good football team, but Kevin, Glenn County has steadily got better all season long, and right now Rocky Hidalgo may have the Red Terrors playing their best football.
Yeah, Glenn's kind of done what they've done under Coach Rock, regardless of what the talent level is or the experience to start the season. They've gotten better. And, they started off losing their first 2 region games, by the way, to the 2 teams that finished 1 and 2, Brunswick and Effingham. But then they ran the table against everybody else. So maybe you could say they beat who they were supposed to beat. But at that point, nothing was automatic for the Red Terrors. And, they've gotten better on offense. They've given that ball to Greg Peacock time and again. He's going to carry the mail for them the rest of the way. Defensively, they have gotten better. They're tackling better, playing a little more sound. Still not a defensive juggernaut like they've had at certain times, but they got a lot of pesky, hard-nosed kids that are going to play hard the whole game over there. Glenn's going to have to keep the score down in this game, Sean, because Northside's not going to give you a lot. Glenn might, if they win, they might be lucky to score 20 points. So the key is going to be Glenn playing good defense too, because nothing against the Glenn offense or anybody. Northside is just that good on defense. So they're going to be in defensive games if they're going to go a good ways, and Glenn has to keep it low scoring as well.
Yeah, going to be a good one there in the MAC Friday night. Friday night there. But let's move on down to 5A, Kevin. This is going to be Saturday games. Jones County is going to be coming to the Swamp here at Memorial Stadium in Waycross to take on the Ware County Gators. And I know this is a 4 versus 1, Kevin, but this very well could be a 1 versus 1. Just like that region you talked about there with Houston and Northside and all those guys. This region where Jones, Warner Robins, all of those guys, this is a very, very tough region. Jones County played well. As a matter of fact, the Massey Index had them ranked to win 5A in Georgia before the season started. They started as a top 5 team in 5A when the season started. They ran into the injury bug. At one time when they played Ola, they were down 9 starters, wound up losing that game, and actually moved them from 1 all the way down to 4. They beat Dutchtown, who's the winner of that region. They beat Northside Warner Robins. So this is a very, very talented football team that'll be coming into the Swamp there Friday night to take on the Gators.
All right, Vince Dooley, good job selling that Jones County team. But you're right. They are solid. They have been for years. They've got a decent history. But they're in the Swamp. They're against the Gators. I like the way this Ware County team is trending, Sean, even though they've been number 1 now for a couple of weeks. Maybe that was by default in some ways by teams losing ahead of them, but they've been top 5, top 6 all year. The defense has been strong all year. That defense is still the same defense. The offense, I think, has gotten better as the quarterback has gotten better and gained confidence, and all the playmakers gaining confidence around him. So Ware County may be starting to peak, if you will, at the right time. Ware County is going to win this game in the Swamp. The Greyhounds better have some true dogs if they're going to come in here and win this.
Yeah, going to be a good one. That game's Saturday, kickoff 5:30, I believe is what it's slated for. Where with that big win over Coffee last week, Coffee slides to the 2 spot. They get to take on Ola from this same region. Ola, a good football team, actually beat Jones, like I said, earlier in the season. Coffee, very, very talented football game. Talented football team. This game is going to be played on Saturday as well, Kevin. I believe it's set for a 5 o'clock kickoff there on Saturday. And that brings us to Statesboro at Dutchtown. Statesboro, Kevin, wound up as a 4 seed because they forfeited last week to play Jenkins. Now, I know there were some threats against their players on social media, and that's the reason why they decided not to play that game. But, for them forfeiting, they wound up sliding to the 4 seed, which puts Jenkins at the 3, and now Statesboro's got to go play Dutchtown over, I guess up toward the Atlanta way there. Again, that game's going to be slated for Saturday. But that'll wrap it up for 5A and bring us into 4A. We've got Trinity Christian, a 3 seed, going to travel to Wayne County to take on the Yellow Jackets on Friday. And Kevin, let's tip our hat to J-Bo Shaw here, man. What a fantastic job. This is a football team that went 0-10 last year. He's got them playing, only lost to Benedictine, I think, this season, and Brooks County, 2 quality football programs here in the state of Georgia. And he's got these guys believing, and just a fantastic job as they get to host this home playoff game on Friday night.
Yeah, both of those teams they lost to, Sean, might be raising championship banners in their gym here in about 5 or 6 weeks. So, excuse me, no slouch at all, the teams they lost to. But, Wayne suffered a big loss, and that was at the quarterback position.
Yep.
And they've had to manufacture things since then, and that's a testament to Coach Shaw, his coaching staff, and his players for getting the job done from there. They had to, restructure their offense, be more run-oriented with the Fuller kid running the football, hang their hat more on their defense, and they've gotten the job done, Sean. They've won football games on Friday nights, and that's all that matters. Of course, they've won some on Halloween and other nights too. Yep. But great job there in Jessup, and regardless of what happens in the playoffs, I'm excited about where this program could be going in the future.
Yeah, like I said, be a good game there in JC Stadium on Friday night as Trinity Christian comes calling. Brings us to the last 4A school. We got New Hampstead going in as a 4 seed, going to travel to play Troup County. That game's going to be on Friday, but New Hampstead with another quality season under Kyle Hockman. But Kevin, we're going to take a break, go pay some bills, and come right back here, and we'll give you the rest of the previews for the first round of the state playoffs. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke, joined by Kevin Price, and this is a part 2 of the first round of the state playoffs here in the 912 area. So, Kevin, we'll jump right back into it. We're going to start off with AAA. We've got Liberty County, a 3 seed out of that region, going to travel to Morgan County. This game also going to be on Saturday, Kevin. Liberty coming off of a tough season there, losing their head coach, and Tony Glazer having to step in and fill in there for Kurt Warner. And like I said, but kudos to those guys for playing tough and getting a playoff spot to take on Morgan County there on Saturday. So we got also in that region, Long County, big victory for Long County this past Friday night in a win in your end type game with Johnson and Savannah. Coach Mike Feaster and the Long County Blue Tide get it done, Kevin. Get that win, and for their efforts, they get to go play Harlem on Saturday. They're a big number 1 seed there out of that region. But Long County in the playoffs, and Kevin, they got that magical 6th win.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome for them. So that makes this a successful season, I think, overall. I mean, we'd have to see what they say, but they were stuck on 5 there for a little while. Got that big 6th victory because it got them into the postseason, and going to be a tough assignment for them. But hopefully, this is a program that seems to be trending in the right direction. So 2 great back-to-back seasons, both in the playoffs for Long County. Good to see.
Yep. And that moves us on down to AA. And AA, we've got the number 1 team, Appleton County, going to host Washington County. For you Georgia Bulldog fans, this is Robert Edwards' team there in Washington County. They're going to come down and play Appleton. I love Robert Edwards to death. That Florida game will live in my memory forever, but it's going to be a tough assignment for him on Friday night as he has to go over there to Jimmy Swain Stadium to take on the Appleton County Pirates.
Yeah, I tell you, Robert Edwards and his brother Terrence and Taquillo Spikes and some of those guys, they were there in the Washington County heyday, under Rick Tomberlin, who's been in this area as well. And, they've had some up and down seasons since. Robert Edwards is the coach back there now. And, they did finish hot, though, Sean. They, I think, won 3 of their last 4 for 3 of their 4 wins. So at least they're, trending in the right direction, coming on strong at the end. But, this is definitely a tough assignment for Washington County to play one of the better teams in the state and certainly one of the better teams here in Southeast Georgia.
Yeah, I look for Appleton to make a deep run. They've got a big physical football team with a lot of size and got some skill guys that can get the job done. So I look for Appleton to make a deep run. That brings us to Laney, the number 3 seed, going to be traveling down to Bearville to take on the Pierce County Bears. This game also on Friday night. Pierce coming off a big win over Tattnall County. This will be a tough draw for Pierce. Laney's a very, very good football team. They lost 2 football games on the year, Kevin, and they lost both of them 15-14. And they lost to the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed in their region by the same score. So these guys are very, very talented. Like I said, so Pierce are going to have their hands full there in Bearville Friday night, but I look for Pierce to get it done.
Yeah, Laney's always had athletes, and it sounds like they got some more again this year. And, it's definitely not going to be a pushover for Pierce, but the good news is they're at home. I think Pierce is more solid on both sides of the football, and I'm glad to see Pierce kind of getting back their mojo after that loss to Appling that kind of seemed to derail them a little bit. But Pierce is made for this time of year. They know what they're doing. They know how to win games in November and December if they can make it there. And I'm like you, Sean. I look for Appling and Pierce to both represent Southeast Georgia very well over the next few weeks.
Yeah, they'll both make deep runs is what I'm predicting. So that brings us down to the last game in AA. Toombs, number 3 seed, going to be taking on Putnam, the number 2 seed there. But Toombs, quality football team, Kevin. Have that unexpected loss to Brantley County on the Hurricane game on a Wednesday night. But this team had a dominant win over Vidalia this past Friday night in a game where you had to win to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, testament to Toombs, for getting the job done when the chips were down against their rival. A lot on the line in that game, more than those bragging rights there locally for them. And, I tell you, Sean, I think the key for Toombs has been that defense. I think they're one of a handful of teams in the state that have 5 or more shutouts on the season. And they're probably going to go as far as that defense can take them. And Putnam County now, they're a solid team. They've had some deep playoff runs in recent years. I think last year they lost either in the quarters or the semis to Fitzgerald, who went on to win the state championship. So Putnam, certainly strong. They know how to win in the postseason. This is going to be a tough matchup for Toombs, and we'll see if they can get the job done and keep rolling with that defense.
Right. And then that brings us to our Single A Division 1, which is the larger of the 2 divisions there. Bacon County is going to go in as a 4 seed. And, oh, by the way, Kevin, he get to travel to play number 1 Swainsboro, who is a very, very talented football team.
No question. Swainsboro with a deep run last year to the semifinals. We knew they would be good coming back again this year, and they've answered the bell again. One of the better teams, down in this neck of the woods. So going to be a tough matchup there for Bacon. Good experience for them, though, as they try to get that program going in the right direction. So, even though it's a tough assignment, this is a good atmosphere for these kids to be in and see what it takes to win at this level.
Exactly. Congratulations to Coach Wilson, his first year back and coaching the Bacon County Red Raiders there, and he gets them to the playoffs there. But then that moves us down to Single A Division 2, which is the smaller of the 2 there, Kevin. And we've got number 4 Seminole going to travel down to the other swamp and take on number 1 Charlton County. Charlton County had the big win over Clinch here a few weeks ago, got by Lanier this past Friday night, and that put them as region champs. So congratulations to Russ Murray and those guys for winning their first region championship in a minute down there in Folkestone. It's going to be a tough draw for them to play Seminole County, but I think the Indians get it done Friday night.
Yeah, I tell you, I saw this Charlton team back in the summer, Sean, and on 7-on-7s, they could score with anybody in the country, I think.
Yeah.
And I think maybe from that standpoint, maybe have been a little bit disappointed in them during the season because I thought they would just, steamroll a lot of folks that maybe they had trouble scoring against. But good to see them get that win when it mattered against Clinch. That was a dog-eat-dog game, and they answered the bell in that one, won a good, hard-fought ball game. And hopefully, with all those athletes that they have down there in the Folks in the Swamp, they can win some games here in the postseason to keep moving in the right direction. They're going to have a good basketball team as well with some of these same guys, but hopefully they'll remain on the football field for a little while longer.
Yeah, definitely keep our eye on that basketball team because they have got some talent down there on the hardwood for sure. But then we've got number 3, Mitchell, going to travel over to Clinch County. Clinch, with that loss to Charlton, moved them into the 2 spot, but they do get this home game there at Don Tyson Field. And listen, Clinch, even though they lost to Charlton, this is a quality football team that I think Kevin will make a deep run.
I tell you, Clinch is kind of like seeing Duke or Kentucky in March Madness. You don't want to be in a bracket with those guys because that name itself means something. And Pierce has got something to back up. Clinch has got something to back up that name again this year. I think this is one of their better football teams in the last couple of years, even though they have a long story tradition of region championship teams and teams that, have won in the state championship level as well. But that was a tough loss for Clinch to lose that game to Charlton. And if Clinch wins this one, they're probably going to be facing the team we're about to talk next. And you talk about a war in the second round, that's going to be a war. We'll get there in a minute right here.
Yep. And that's going to bring us to our last first round game, and that's going to be number 4, Wheeler County is going to travel over to the Ship in Darien to take on MCA. MCA was one of our first teams, Kevin, the Clinch Region Championship. Listen, Bradley Warren's got those Buccaneers playing tough football. I would not want to have to be going into the Ship to play a football game right now because these guys are really, really talented on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, this McIntosh team kind of reminds me of the Junkyard Dogs, defense. You don't want to go against them. They're going to knock you around, beat you to death, try to get physical. They're kind of that way on offense too, Sean. Not kind of, they are.
Right.
They're going to get physical, come downhill at you, punch you in the mouth. And this team's playing with a lot of confidence. And, they got the job done. They've got 3 or 4 good guys who can carry the football for them. They're solid on defense. So Coach Warren each year has gotten a little better with this team in his second stint there in McIntosh. So if McIntosh can win this game, I'm expecting it to be McIntosh and Clinch. We'll talk more about that later, but it was a heck of a game a few years back. Both teams are going to remember that, and it would be a great one this year if we could see it. I'm looking forward to it. That's one of the juicy matchups that you get when you come around to the postseason. If you look at some of these brackets, and that's one of the ones that kind of gets the blood boiling.
Yeah, and I can't remember, was that an overtime game a couple of years ago? Or was that a regulation game?
I think it was, Sean, I believe, and there was some controversy.
Definitely some controversy.
Should have been made or not to go back to the officiating. I hate to bring it. We brought it full circle. We did. We brought it full circle.
There you go. Well, if you got about 15 minutes, just get Bradley Warren on the subject. He'll tell you his thoughts. So that was still there's certain games that stick in Coach's crawl, and that one is definitely in Coach Warren's crawl there for sure.
Yeah, sometimes he's a man of few words, but if you can sit down with a cup of coffee or maybe something a little stronger, it might really get him going.
Exactly. He'll tell you exactly how he feels about that one. So, but hey, man, it's going to be a great weekend of high school football here in Southeast Georgia. Go out, check out one of these games. Hey, the great thing about it is, Kevin, if you plan your weekend right, you could probably see 2 games this weekend.
That's right. That is good. The Good Friday, Saturday deal. Now, the problem is a lot of fans that might be attending those Saturday games love the Georgia Bulldogs as well, and they kick off, I think, at 7 o'clock Saturday night in Starkville. Probably a smart thing for some of these teams to get a little bit ahead of that. But if they would have wanted, in my opinion, I'd have said kick off at 1 or 2 o'clock, and I'd have been at your game, and I'd have been back home by the time the Dogs start. But they didn't listen to me, Sean.
There you go. And I think GHSA did say, hey, you can start as early as 12:30. So I haven't found anybody taking advantage of that. I think most people are 5 and 6 and 5:30. But
hey, high school football's fun on Saturday afternoon, too. We don't have to necessarily wait till the sun goes down. But, hey, those teams did what they thought they had to do. And hopefully for our teams in South Georgia, we got some good ones playing around that 5, 6, 7 o'clock hour. Hopefully they all win.
Exactly. Hey, appreciate everybody watching, but stick around. We've got more On Air with 912 Sports coming up right after these messages.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.